want to ask you about the vantage points in the physical part of our life experience, and several different things about that. One is...
You're talking about perspective, vantage points, your point of view?
Yeah. Well, our perception of our physical existence, our self, is it... Well, a couple things. One, do we... when we croak and we come back, does it always to Earth? I mean, there's an entire universe out there. Are all vantage points here, or is it all over the universe, different perspectives, different experiences physically?
Such a big question, such a good question. When you are here launching your rockets of desire and putting them into a vortex, you're putting them into a vortex that is calling you back to the vortex. And since this is where you are, this is the vortex that is calling you. Did you hear that? Now, that's not to say that you're not expansive, and it's also not to say that the larger part of you, that the source that is at the source that is at the source that is at the source of you, doesn't have access to all that is. But this is the arena in which you have been expanding and becoming. And because you keep being called back to that which you have become, then the answer is yes. Now, we're going to say something really big and important here because of the bigness and the perfection of your question. This earth that sometimes you seem pretty flippant about leaving as you get out into the big galaxy of the big universe, this earth is as leading edge as it gets. And so the perfect answer to your question is, you, genius creator, are always called to your leading edge, and that's here. Now, a lot of people, they don't want this polluted planet to be the leading edge, but they don't get it. They don't understand the evolution of it. They don't understand the thought that brought it together and the physics that brought the matter together. This is an incredible creation that is in its infancy stages. And so your creative desire is to be here in this environment, and the best way for you to get it, and you got it when we said it the first time, so we really don't need to go back and say it again, but we will. Since your vortex is in this arena, it's calling you to this arena.
Okay, and in this arena, do we have a thread of what some people call past lives, or you coming back but retaining some of your identity?
You have a thread, yes, but ignore it if you will, because the thread to past lives is the opposite direction from the thread to the expanded lives. And we really want you to get the feeling that while you came from source energy, that here you have launched more intentionality, and that intentionality is calling you forward. And it's only in the moving forward toward that which you have become that you will receive satisfaction. And of course, Jerry and Esther have an artist friend, magnificent painter, best they've ever seen with their own human eyes. And Esther said, while beholding a magnificent painting, "Doris, how long did it take you to paint this?" And she said, 73 years. And of course what she meant was, everything that I am is embodied in this most recent work. And so everything that you've ever been is embodied in this vortex that is now calling you. But the vortex that is calling you is where it's at, not trying to retrace the steps. Retracing the steps, people do that all the time. It holds you back a great deal. You want to explain why you're where you are. Well, I'm where I am because my mother didn't understand me, and no one in my family had any money, and I didn't inherit anything, and then I went to school and it was really hard, and I didn't really apply myself because I didn't want to. And most people that are reaching into past anything are doing it in a justifying attitude that is not helping. So So we would rather that you say, I am what I am, and I am really what I am, and my undivided attention is in this arena between what I'm letting myself be right now and who I really am. This is my work zone. Forward looking, forward feeling, forward finding, expanding. Nothing feels good. Nothing compares in any way to the feeling of having expanded and letting it come home. Nothing compares to the clicking into place again and again with your expanded beingness. And when you look back, it always drags you down. Always, every time. Oh, you can look back for insight. Jerry's writing his life story, his memoirs. People are asking him to do it. And it annoys Esther because most of it she wasn't in. And so it just seems like a complete waste of life to her that it took him so long to get to her. And all that he's lived is the reason that he is who he now is. And so it is interesting. Just don't get carried away with it. Let it be a small footnote, and let the power of what you express be about who you now are and how you now feel and what you now want and where you're now going. And are you refreshed? Yes. Good. Now what? We're threading the needle almost all the way to the back. Stand if you think it's you. You are the one.
Hello. It's so nice after hearing and seeing things from you for so many years to meet you in person.
In Esther's person.
Exactly. Well, of course, the thanks go to Esther and Jerry for making it possible. Am I not speaking loud enough?
Get in there a little closer. He'll bump you up a little bit, too.
Okay. Okay. The question, recently I heard that on one of your cruises, there was a particularly stunning kind of event that happened, or that was the impression that I got. Now, in the world of vibration and radiation, my instinct suggested that maybe something that had happened in that experience had allowed an ability of the vibration to transfer at a better rate or a more successful rate to those that were participating at the time?
Well, one of the things that happens in a gathering like this is that in the same way that we're talking about your inner being is in your vortex and is calling you in, right. In a gathering such as this, where we focus from inside the vortex and we do the majority of the talking, if you're paying attention, it's an opportunity for your vibration to raise.
Right.
And the cruises are particularly beneficial in the regard that they last a longer period of time. People have left behind their responsibilities and the things that they feel tied to. People are sort of floating free in every sense of the word, right, on the cruises. And because of the conversation that we have, it is an opportunity where often people do allow themselves to move into that higher vibration. And when that happens, then there is a collective, co-creative aha. It happens in nearly every workshop, right, at some point or the other. But it really has to do, again, the higher frequency, as you know, is always about releasing resistance, because it is always resistance that slows everything down.
Right.
We were having fun on the Panama Canal cruise because once the enormous ship had passed through the locks of the canal, and the participants in the seminar had, for the most part, witnessed it. It was quite a thing to see. So the ship is moving from a lower body of water to a higher body of water, sort of like getting into the vortex. And these first locks that this ship passed through, it was about an 84-foot raise. Now, if the ship had tried to just catapult itself up there, while it is doable, we suppose there could be jetpacks or something that could accomplish the jump, but not a very pleasant experience. So instead, it was an incremental thing. The ship just floated into this lock, and then the water just was raised until the water level of this lock was the same as that at the next lock, and then the gates were just softly opened. There was hardly a wave or a ripple, and the ship just floated into the next level, and then into the next lock, and then that lock was lower than the next, so more water was added, and the ship floated upward, and then when it was equal, the gate opened, and the ship just floated into the next lock. And we were saying to our participants on the cruise that that's the way we would like you to see your vortex. In other words, when you try to jump in, it doesn't work very well. You want to be in harmonic, you want to be in rhythm, you want to be in balance, you want to be in flow. You can use any word that you want, but you get the gist of this. In other words, you want, and if you will just take it incrementally, then it doesn't upset your boat doesn't tip over. If you just take it incrementally, and that really is what this vibrational alignment is. You just reach and align and raise the vortex. The vortex, we began calling it the Panama vortex, the Panama vortex instead of the vortex canal. In other words, because we want you to realize that it is this valve or this opening or this passageway where the vibration of that which is you and the vibration of that which is really you can come into full blending, you see. And with the less trauma, the better. So once you pass into the canal that we are even calling the vortex, there is still more to do and more to do and more to do and more to do. There is no ending to the raising and vibration, just as there is no ending to the ending of creation. It's a constant motion upward because life just keeps causing you to parlay it into a higher vibration, and then you have the thrill of coming into alignment with that higher vibration. It's a very good analogy, and it puts it into a perspective that we want you to consider. Yes, stand if you think it's you. Second row, yes, you are the one. Yes.